Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joining the studio today. We welcome back from his Pebble Beach exploit. Shaka Hislop is here and still with us.
Oh, sorry.
Stevie Nicol is with us as well on the day that all reports are suggesting that Declan Rice is on his way to Arsenal. In doing so, he will become the 10th most expensive player in the history of the game. Arsenal looks set to pay €116 million for the England international. For more on this, let's welcome in Don Hutchinson. Woo! Don, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. Listen, I think, Dan, when we talk money these days, it's quite easy just to say, oh, £100 million, £160 million. But, you know, in the modern day, I think with the list of players you just showed there, I think listen, it's hard to say he's worth it because I go back to people like R9 and, you know, Zinedine Zidane went for about 45 million quid. So that's obviously in the past. You try and comprehend the numbers that these guys are putting up these days. But in the way he plays the game, Dan, I think not only are you getting the perfect player, but I think Arsenal are getting the perfect character, because I think managers are definitely looking at the character of player. Never a problem, always injured, versatile, can play as a 6, as an 8, captain material. See what he done for West Ham, taking them to a conference final win last season. And the role that he plays, he's very easy on the eye. And I think what you're buying as well, you're not buying the finished article just yet at 116. So I think there's a lot more to come from Declan Rice in this Arsenal system. I think you'll see him flourish, score more goals, get more assists.
Is there any way, Stevie, this doesn't work?
Well, if there's a cuss on that list, that's about it. That list you just put up there, the first thing I thought about was pretty much all of them bombed for the amount of money. So it shows you, just because you pay a lot of money doesn't mean you're going to get a player.
Yeah.
Now, I would absolutely agree with everything that Don said. I just don't see how it's possible that Declan Rice doesn't make an impact on this Arsenal side.
Right.
I think he's absolutely the right fit for them. He's perfect, everything about him, and particularly the captain material. But you know, having a lot of young guys. Okay, the last couple of seasons they've played a lot of games, but they're still young men. And to have somebody like Declan Rice, who is just natural leader. He doesn't try, he just does it. So I don't see how this goes wrong.
We discussed a lot, Shaka, in your absence. If you were Declan Rice, where would you go? Manchester City or Arsenal? City, of course, tabling that bid yesterday. I'm sure if it came down to it and Declan Rice really wanted to push that move to City, maybe he could have persuaded City to up the bid or whatever to get it done. How do you think this played out? Why do you think City withdrew?
I think City just hit their limit. They put a value on the player and decided that they didn't want to go over it. West Ham were pushing for a whole lot more. They had their own value. And it just didn't match. City feel that they have cover in that position, that they have talent in that position, or have identified talent that they can bring in at a more reasonable cost. Arsenal felt that Declan Rice was absolutely the right player, the only player for them, and so we were prepared to meet West Ham's valuation. It's just as simple as that. If you're Arsenal, I'm not sure how thrilled you are. Manchester City entering the race, just to boost the price for Rice. And then, but again, if you're Arsenal and you're prepared to go that far, and adding what 10 million on top or whatever it is, whatever it was, just makes sense. Given the age, given the talent of the player.
Where does he fit then into this Arsenal starting 11 for you, Don?
Well, he fits straight into midfield, obviously, but he fits a versatile system where Zinchenko might play, as we've seen before, he plays that sort of inverted role. You see the graphic there with Ødegaard and Kai Havertz. I mean, that's quite a formidable three in terms of you ain't getting the ball off those three. And then forward, they've got they've got so much talent at the top end of the pitch. But it's very interesting what Mikel Arteta will want Declan Rice to do. You might see Kai Havertz bomb on another 10 yards up the pitch on that graphic, same as Ødegaard, then Zinchenko sits in alongside him. And I think what you're getting as well with Declan Rice is the Declan Rice that played under David Moyes was obviously a more defensive Declan Rice, because when you're at the bottom of the league, you're holding on to results, you don't really want to bomb on. There's people like Souček and Paquetá that can do that, so he's then more disciplined. I think what you'll see now with Declan Rice, you'll see a lot more, I think, a cavalier approach, if you like. I think you'll see a guy that plays with a lot more freedom. Defenders will be trustworthy behind him, and he can leave that position when needed. But I think, when you look at what the players Arteta's got to work with the offensive players, I think you'll probably be in that central midfield area where they'll be a little bit more defensive with an eye at the right time to go forward.
I don't see that. Not with that. Not if Havertz plays in there.
Okay.
Otherwise, nobody's going to defend.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't see how Havertz plays in there.
Oh, really?
Why? Give me one thing. Give me one good reason why he plays in the middle and has to do a little bit of everything. I don't see it. He couldn't do the one thing that he needed to do for Chelsea, but you're going to ask him to do 2 or 3 other things
So
as well.
Where would you have Havertz?
I wouldn't have him. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have him.
You've spent a lot of money on him, Stevie.
I mean, are you going to...
Mikel Arteta obviously really rates him.
Yeah. He definitely... Well, listen, Arteta's done way more in the game than me, but I don't see how he plays in the middle of the park. And you can't... Martinelli's playing, Shaka's starting, and are you telling me that Jesus isn't going to start? Of course he's going to start. You can't have that 3 in the middle of the park against a proper team. No chance. I don't see it.
No, I've been saying this from day one. I just don't see Havertz as a fit. And maybe, again, I'll echo Stevie, Arteta has an idea about Kai Havertz as a player, how he's going to utilise him, that right now I'm just not seeing. But until we see Arsenal line up in the starting day of the season and we see how Arteta intends to use Havertz, I'm going to be drawing a blank.
This is what Arteta said. Arteta said Kai is a player of top quality. He was great. He has great versatility and is an intelligent player. He will bring a huge amount of extra strength to our midfield and variety to our play.
Let's go to the strength bit. When was the last time this guy made a challenge or got a ball back?
But you just said, why Arteta sees something here, surely, because they have been driving this deal.
I'm just arguing the points that he made.
Yeah.
Yes. Does he have a good football brain? Yes, he has. Does he have ability? Yes, he has. But it's not in the middle. It's not in the engine room in the middle of the park. It can't be. He's shown. I'm sorry, I haven't seen anything from Kai Havertz, whether it was in Germany or whether it's in the Premier League, to suggest that he's a guy you have in the middle 3 of a 4-3-3. I don't see it.
In the Bundesliga, to be fair, he would drop off into midfield and would pick, but he would start higher up and then drop into those half spaces where he would find room, and he's a very good passer of the football. But that's coming back onto the ball. That's kind of drawing defenders out of position. And as I said, playing in those half positions. You saw none of that in Chelsea. Chelsea was asked to play up front. Even when he dropped off, he played in a struggling Chelsea team. So you want to discount that. But to the point that even when he was at his best, it wasn't coming from midfield. It was dropping into midfield on the occasion. So I'll keep saying it from now till the start of the season. I just don't see it.
Oh.
And until Arteta lines Arsenal up and we see how he intends to use him, see how it works, I am happy to be proven wrong. Just as we sit right now, end of June, I'm drawing a blank.
Arsenal fans, of course, very excited by the move. And I have to say, I'm quite excited.
Why?
It must be said as well. Why, Stephen? Should we show everybody why?
I don't think Arsenal get top 4 next season.
Oh, here we go. It's another bet. Another Stevie bet coming up. Why?
Don't know. Just got a feeling. Everyone will be stronger.
Hold on.
Everyone will be better.
Do you want to go $50, Don?
Have you got that off?
What, for top 4?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I say Arsenal will finish top 4, $50.
All right, let's have 50 on that.
There we go. Well, that's easy, isn't it?
Tom.
My days. You are going to be minted at the end of the season.
Was I not an example of not taking the bait?
Don, obviously the bet is now made. It's been televised, it's been captured. You can't go back on it now. Do you wish you could?
No, listen, it's a bit of fun. I've been done at more money than 50 quid. Listen, I made that bet before Havertz and before Declan Rice. I had a funny feeling when I looked at the teams that were in the top 4, like Newcastle. I expect Man U to go again. I expect Liverpool to go again. I'm not sure what version of Chelsea we're going to get, but they'll certainly be better than last season. So I thought, before the signs were made, I thought they might struggle. But the Declan Rice one's a game changer. I think that moves the needle. I think, especially in terms of trying to secure not only top four, but trying to secure a title race all of a sudden, because that's a statement signing. When you nick a player away from Man City, who bid, close to £100 million, City obviously fancied him big time, and everyone else does. So for Arsenal, it's a fantastic signing. And just on the Kai Havertz point as well, I think when you put the graphic up there, and I think, Steve, you can shoot me down if you want, but with Kai Havertz in that midfield role, just sitting there, is not the right fit. But Arsenal won't play like that. As I said before, Zinchenko will step into that midfield, which then will push Kai Havertz into a sort of number 10 position. And I've spent 17 years down being a midfield player. And when I got told that Joe Linton was going to come from the left side or a centre forward into a midfield player at Newcastle, I thought, absolutely no chance. He's been one of Newcastle's best players in that position over the last 2 years. So let's wait and see.
What does this mean, this signing, Stevie, for Arsenal's title credentials?
The Declan Rice signing? Well, it just means that they're going to be up there fighting for it. I don't think it takes them above City.
Right. Does it clearly make them second favourites? Or were they second favourites before?
No, I think they're second favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering what they did last year, and then they've added particularly Declan Rice, that makes them better. And so, yes, absolutely. We can sit here and talk about Liverpool and Chelsea being better. But the fact is, until they are, you don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't see Arsenal just all of a sudden capitulating. They'll be at it again at the start of the season, and with Declan Rice, it makes them a stronger and better side. And for a team that came so close to winning the title last year, there's no way they're not going to be fighting.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it, Shaq. Percentage chance Arsenal win the title.
At Arsenal win the title, I am going to go 35%.
Shaq, that's quite high.
Yeah, as we sit right now, I think...
Would it be literally 35-65?
No, right now I still think Liverpool have done well in the transfer market so far. As we said, there's still a lot of speculation about Manchester United, so I think those two trail Arsenal in terms of who's favourite. I would say City, let's call it 50%.
Okay.
And then the balance 15% between Liverpool and Arsenal. That's as we said right now.
7.5%.
7.5% each. Long way to go between now and the end of the transfer window.
Okay, all right, Shaq.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm hedging my bets. You just made the statement a moment ago. You can't start backing out.
I'm hedging my bets.
The percentage king, Don?
Oh, my God, I'm not even going to get into that man maths. Shaka's just nailed it. I mean,
well, to be fair, I did it all for him.
No, you didn't.
Well, there you go, then. That explains a lot.
Oh, no, it was all him.
It was not him.
It was all him.
I said 35-50, and then Man U and Arsenal split it.
No, I did.
Man U and Liverpool split
Newcastle,
it 15.
Huh? No, Newcastle, no.
Oh, yeah, America, Newcastle.
I don't think Newcastle are going to win the title.
Okay, right, Don.
What percentage chance?
Yes.
Arsenal winning the league, I think it's lower than 35. I think I'll go 30. I just think there's a lot of competition this season. There's a lot of competition before a ball's even kicked. We're not sure if Man United are going to sign Caicedo. We don't know if Chelsea are getting him. We don't have Newcastle getting Tonali.
How can they be 30 if they're not going to be in the top four?
Well, I think he's changed his mind now about the top four.
Oh,
I think that's
just pay
it.
now.
No, I was just
pay $50.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.